8 minutes after 8 o'clock, we have a Thursday morning going on here today. It's the final full day in office of President Barack Obama. Tomorrow at noon, he is done, and the new guy takes over, Donald Trump. Yesterday, the president held his final press conference in the Brady press briefing room, and one of the people in attendance is our good friend Bob Weiner, who is president of Robert Weiner Associates News and Solutions for Change Foundation. He is a White House correspondent, radio TV commentator, op-ed columnist with over 750 op-eds in major papers, a former spokesman for the Clinton and Bush White Houses, U.S. House Government Operations Committee and House Narcotics Committee, Chief of Staff in the House Aging Committee, also served with senior staff positions with John Conyers, Charlie Rangel, and Claude Pepper, by the way, here from Florida, along with Ed Koch, the former mayor of New York, Senator Ted Kennedy, and four-star General Barry McCaffrey. And he joins us on the phone now. I'm sorry, after your bio, Bob, I've just run out of time. Thanks for joining us today. Gotta go. I'm kidding.
Thanks,
but
David.
I did.
It's always fun, and when I talk with you, which I really enjoy doing, I'm glad you mentioned Claude Pepper, because that was such a highlight for me of my whole life.
Well, you know, I saw this photo that you posted of you way, way, way at the back of the room yesterday because it was so crowded in there. What was the feeling like in the room?
Well, it was actually on the side, about 20 feet from the president, went straight across. But it was 125 people in a room designed for 49 seats. So
yeah, man, you were like sardines in a can in there.
Yeah, and Dave, it was sad but substantive. Mm-hmm. Sad but looking forward. And how Obama can be in the kind of positive mood that he is when Democrats across the country are still feeling very depressed about the whole thing, although asking very good questions in the confirmation hearings, was remarkable. What I did just for your show was Obama versus Trump in the two most recent news conferences. Of course, Trump's his final pre-president, and Obama his final as president. Obama versus Trump. Obama, free press. Press does service. Be skeptics. Having you in this building has been important. It's made us better. And Dave, you still there? Okay.
I'm still here.
And Trump, the crooked media, and you're disgusting. I mean, the difference between the two was just night and day in terms of respect for facts, for knowledge, for wanting to do the right thing versus I'm the only one who matters and you guys are idiots.
But, you know, I saw a headline this morning that referred to the press as sycophantic toward the president, saying that it was, one guy even said that it was sort of like getting giving him a virtual foot massage from the press, that they were lobbing softballs at him, and that he on the other hand was telling the press not to be sycophantic when it comes to coverage of Mr. Trump. So the conservative media is spinning this as a very poor performance by the president, and one guy even referred to it as sad.
Well, the performer, I walked out saying, where were the questions on Comey and on the Russian hacking?
Yeah.
There weren't any. And so, yes, that part of it was disappointing, but it was not the time to have the issues and substantive questioning of the president when you only have 55 minutes in a news conference.
Well, what about this Chelsea Manning thing? What was? I know he did talk about that a little bit, and he rationalized it by saying what?
Well, he talked about she has served enough, she suffered, and what I have said, and I'm pretty open about this, and Andrea Mitchell asked the question and made the point too. The real answer is she has mental issues that are beyond solution by the military. She's suicidal. She is no longer any danger whatsoever because she's never going to have access again to any information that's going to matter. So the military wanted to get rid of her and not have her under their care and not have to worry about her. And so that's exactly what happened there. I am convinced that there was conversations with Obama's pardon people saying, give her the commutation, get her out of here.
Yeah, but isn't the Secretary of Defense and numerous other people said they were opposed to this?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, that's what the press is reporting.
I worked for four-star General Barry McCaffrey in the White House, and he and we're friends, and we work together to this day.
Right, I know.
When I was in the Clinton administration, and he was livid about all the WikiLeaks exposures and thought that it was, just a horrific thing. And I was equivocal, at that point. I thought that it was good for full knowledge, the American people getting informed, but I'm so much less so now when it's clear that WikiLeaks got money from Russia and, as a result, had the funding to go forward with giving Donald Trump what he wanted in the Russian hacking.
Yeah.
And the intelligence agencies are in total consensus.
Well, now now you have this cyber criminal, this wimp, Assange, who said that once she was pardoned, he was going to allow himself to be extradited. Well, it didn't really live up to the spirit of what we wanted, they're saying now.
Because he's a coward. We haven't indicted Assange on anything. There's no extradition when there's no crime. It was an absurd statement. But, when you work with Donald Trump, you get like Donald Trump. So Assange says stuff, and it doesn't matter what he says after he says it.
Well, I think the guy is a despicable human being, to be honest with you, and I think he's proven himself to be nothing more than a cowardly little man who can't face up to his own realities and go back to Sweden, and if he's so innocent in all the charges against him, go on trial and prove it. It's not that hard to do. It happens every day.
They're multifaceted, Dave. They're multifaceted, and what Assange did in revealing the war crimes that we did and the shooting that we did in Iraq against civilians and showing the documentation for that, there was a service there. Yeah. So you got to split them in pieces, compartmentalize in terms of what the leaks are, but it's very dangerous to have a guy have willy-nilly access to military secrets and let him out.
Well, especially that guy.
Well, that's the guy who revealed the shooting of the civilians.
No, I understand, but I'm
court-martialing in Iraq.
I'm not attacking WikiLeaks. I'm attacking Assange personally because I believe
But he created it. He is it.
Well, I know, but I don't think he's a very good person.
I agree.
My take on it. So.
I told you I've changed my opinion when I realized that he goes in for Russian hacking and
exactly. So it looks like they're talking about moving the press conferences going forward into the old executive office building across the street to allow for more press to attend. Why is everybody so outraged about this?
Because it's moving, and that was part of the mood, and that was part of the whole feeling in the White House press room by everybody, was being moved out of the center of the action and direct access to the president, where you can walk around immediately. I did it right after the news conference. I went and thanked all the White House staff for everything they did and for all their service to the country and asked where you're going and good luck and all that. The access that you have to directly get answers to questions from the White House staff is exactly what Trump wants to accomplish to get the press one generation removed from him. So it's not even really, by the way, across the street. It's across a driveway in the same clearance complex where you don't have to have clearance to go from one building to the other. But it means you're moved and you're away from where things are happening in the country. And the tradition in our country it's called the Brady press room. The guy who was shot when he was working for Ronald Reagan and when Reagan was shot.
I understand, but
that's what it is.
But I'm just saying the new guy is going to be Sean Spicer, so he'll be starting, I guess, tomorrow afternoon.
Right. And he's, by the way, good news here. He has cleared me to continue to cover in the White House, so I'm very excited about that.
That's very good. So whether they're in the West Wing of the White House or they're actually across the driveway, does it really matter that much in terms of getting the information?
Well, press is what is read by the people, and the immediate information and the symbolism of a collaboration in terms of information flow. You don't want it to look like we're becoming Russia, where you're going to put the press off and only give them the propaganda you want.
Well,
you don't want that.
I'm a little confused, though. I mean, we're still talking about holding daily press briefings, and they're talking about including.
No,
they're not
necessarily. They're even balking on that.
But they're talking about way more press being allowed in than are currently there. So
you can always have, and Obama did it too. Obama would go to the East Room. He'd go into the Rose Garden. He would have done it for this one too. He would have had this one in either the East Room or the Rose Garden. It was a gorgeous day. But the statement of being in the Brady Room, that's why it was crowded, by the way, the statement of being in the Brady Room right there and having that as the workspace. If you go into that workspace, by the way, it's not just that one room. You walk down a long corridor, and there's offices, little teeny cubbyhole offices of each of the press outlets. Then you go right downstairs in the two ends of that hall, which are connected to the Brady Room, and there's more little offices, cubbyholes. and everybody is scurrying around and working together, and you know, and the mood is we're here at the White House. I remember talking to Mark Knoller, and who is the champion historian of CBS
Yeah,
News.
I saw him sitting in the front row in that photo. He was way down in the lower right corner there. Yeah.
And in the first Obama news conference, I'm right behind Mark Knoller, and I've got that picture, and it's a classic. But I said to him, "Do you still feel like I feel? Every time you come over here, you get a chill because you're part of being involved in the nation's center action government?" And he said, "Absolutely." And anybody who doesn't feel that way shouldn't be coming over here and shouldn't work here. He's taking a little bit of that away, Dave. He's taking a little bit of it away, the chill, the feeling, the excitement, the thrill of actually being at the center of things and being able to be a part of it and impacting it by what you write and informing the American people and giving them news.
Well, I'm almost out of time here, but I have to say, I don't think it's going to be an unexciting 4 years. I think there's going to be a lot of action, and regardless of where the press briefings are going to be held, between that and Twitter, I think we're all going to have our hands full.
Well, the only thing is, I think Democrats can't just be sniping and chipping away. You know, I wrote a piece in the Tallahassee Democrat, Finding Common Ground, and whether it's on infrastructure or health care, where Trump has actually come out with a positive thing in terms of saying that we should negotiate with the drug companies so that we can save billions of dollars out of their hundreds of billions, which every other country does and which the VA does, but we kept it out of the Affordable Care Act by one vote. There are things that we can do with Trump that are positive.
All right, well, we look forward to those positive things, and I think everybody agrees if he is successful, we are successful, and that's what we want.
Correct, unless he tears every piece of social program down and cuts it all, that we have nothing left from the FDR New Deal and the Great Society.
I'm willing to
That's
give
what
him,
they want to do.
I'm willing to give him time to prove that he's not going to do that.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Bob. Always
sure.
a pleasure. Bob Weiner from D.C. this morning. It's 8:20, and we'll be right back.